Give me one thing about the 49ers to be optimistic about.
That we're going to see them wear the all-white throwback suits. That's going to be pretty clean. No, seriously. Yeah, try to dig up a positive, optimism about, it's tough. But look, they got destroyed by the Chiefs. It's fine when you get destroyed by a Super Bowl contender. I think the thing we can look at to be optimistic about, especially after that loss, is look, the defense was getting hit on being a historical pace, which I thought was like a little crazy. But they're still elite defense. And I think the real hope is after D'Amico Ryans got punched in the mouth and his whole unit got pretty much just dog walked most of the time, is that he's going to bounce back. He's going to learn, knowing that he's a competitor and is a former player. He's really going to dig in and be like, look, guys, we cannot let that crap happen again because that was unacceptable. I think he's the one coach I trust more than Kyle Shanahan that's really going to hold his side accountable and is going to really correct and find what was wrong with his own stuff. And I know there's a lot of miscues by players, missed tackles going to field, but there's going to be a lot of new things that I think Andy Reid now just taught and exposed to D'Amico, and it's good for him, the fact that it was mid-season, so he can expect it from other teams. Like you just said, copycat league, and D'Amico could be like, look, we're going to expect this now in case from another team, and if they throw it at us, we'll adjust. So I'm really hopeful, and I like that D'Amico Ryans has a chance to really, tighten up all the loose ends that Andy Reid exposed in Patrick Mahomes against them last week, and then it can really become a really, really good top 3 defense and not look like the putrid one last week.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to the defense. You left me with not a lot. I'm going to go with the fact that the Niners do have a down division. And even though they may not win more than 9 games this year, 9 games could win the division legitimately. I mean, we don't know if the Seahawks are for real. They're 4-3, and everyone's throwing them a parade. They could totally fall apart. We have no idea how their season's going to go. Maybe they finish poorly and the Niners finish strong. That's the best thing you could say is they have a defense that probably should bounce back and a division that they could win. But even if they win the division, where are they going, man? Say something optimistic about the offense right now.
I can't.
Say something optimistic about the special teams right now.
Nope.
You can't. So unless they swap out the quarterback or something drastic, I think we hit it. Brandon Ayuk's here. Brandon Ayuk's doing great. Christian McCaffrey looks really good. Jeff Wilson Jr. looks just as good. That's 3 things you could say, and yet none of it matters on offense. None of it leads to points.
I'm stupid. Christian McCaffrey is really the only optimistic thing you have because you're trying to look. He wasn't. Really
Debo's hurt. Jimmy's not himself. Kyle's not himself. Yeah.
It's gonna really, really be clear about how much Debo's hurt when you go to practice today and when Kyle talks, and especially throughout the week. But that's pretty much the only thing to be optimistic about is what's Christian McCaffrey going to do to uplift. Because initially when I heard that this when we talked about it, this trade is the Emmanuel Sanders trade, I was like, no, that's phooey, But aside from the records and it being a desperation move, I see the similarities now in the terms of, look, they're getting 2 pretty solid players who I know they're gimpy. But ultimately, it wasn't so much – they weren't required to be that stats guy. Emmanuel Sanders wasn't that. What did he do? He helped Jimmy in the passing game. He helped Debo and Kendrick develop. And essentially, all those 3 mixed together ended up helping the running game because now you weren't able to just sell out. So I think in those 3 facets, McCaffrey could do the same. He helps the running game. He gives Jimmy Garoppolo another outlet, another type of disguise. And then he takes the pressure off of Debo. So that's really, but a lot of things, you got to hit on all these things for it to, and that's many steps you're hoping on a running back, a guy who could do it. I know that's why I always say the 49ers in this trade, as much as I was cool with it, it's the odds are kind of stacked against them in this. And you really got to hit on all those 3 phases and on health, and he can be elite. Otherwise, this trade looks phooey.
Well, if Debo has to miss any time, if he has to miss this upcoming game, good thing you have Christian McCaffrey because I'm not sure you beat the Rams without that type of dual threat running back. I don't know if you beat the Rams without Debo Samuel. So that's one thing that at least you have a Debo replacement, very expensive, but at least you have someone in case Debo has to miss time. I guess that's something. That's something. So those are certain things to be optimistic about. Sean O'Leary says misuse of Lance, locker room pining for Jimmy, costly penalties over and over, conditioning and injury issues, constant inability to score off the game plan script, disdain for fan media scrutiny. What else do owners need to see? I
You hit
agree.
the nail on the head.
I agree. But again, I'm theorizing that this isn't Jed's call. This is up to his parents. They're in Youngstown. I have no idea how closely they're watching this. Maybe they're watching the show right now. Maybe they're big fans of the All 49ers show. Or maybe not. Maybe they only check in November if the team is losing. I don't know. It's kind of bleak. But I feel like there's no one at the wheel in this organization. Aisha says, I think we'll see Christian McCaffrey run up the middle
You almost got you.
82,734 times until he gets injured so that the fan base can transfer the blame onto him. You know, the Shanahan way.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people keep saying the Niners are going to get healthy. They're going to go on a run. Every week, 3 guys get hurt in their team. Every week. So, now it's Debo. And it doesn't even seem like the player's fault, right? Like now Mostert can stay healthy in Miami. Okay. So when's Christian's turn? I feel bad for Christian, but man, you got the two unluckiest teams in the league. It's like the Niners and the Chargers. The Chargers have always had. They're very similar. What is it? I don't get it.
But the one thing with the Niners, most of their players already have an injury history. A lot of those Chargers players don't.
Just go. Yeah, J.C. Jackson didn't have an injury history. It's like,
That was
of course though.
Dude. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen.
Poor guy.
I don't know if he had anything in college at Berkeley, but I mean, that guy got Carnitas hamstring. Jesus.
Oh, Iowa Niner says Debo is the same age as CMC and gets hurt often as well. Can't be mad at the trade and not question the extension of Debo. I didn't really like the extension of Debo. They gave him hella money. They
didn't give him that much money.
They gave him hella money.
Give him market value.
Yeah, but they gave him market value for a guy with one great year. He had other good years, but he had one great year. And as we see this year, he's not replicating that. You're getting 2019, 2020 Debo, not 2021 Debo. That was a once in a lifetime Debo that the Niners are hoping.
It's not a fault of his.
It's not a fault of his. It's not a fault of his. It's a fault of the Niners. They always pay people off of their one best year. Armstead, he had 10 sacks one year. Like, oh, boom. There we go. $85 million contract. Like,
okay, that one was bad or not bad, but that one's like even significantly lesser because not only was it just the 1 year with a bunch of great talents that he was surrounded by, Debo at least carried the freaking offense.
He did.
You're taking Eric Armstead away from this defense right now. They've been fine without him. I mean, maybe they felt it down the last game or two, but still.
They did the same thing with Jimmy, though. Oh, 7 starts. You look good. Highest paid player in the league. Like, why don't you franchise tag him and get some more evidence? Philly Croof 2215 says the offensive genius coaches in KC. If Shanahan had a different last name, he would be gone.
Yeah, he's holding a lot to that name for sure.
He is. And he's really got it good on Jed. If there were another owner that had some like standing, like the dude in Atlanta, what's his name?
Arthur Smith?
The owner. Blank, whatever his name is. Arthur Blank. He wouldn't put up with this. Eddie wouldn't put up with this. Only a really, really weak owner who's scared about perception would. Not too many teams can copycat Patrick Mahomes. No, but 10 teams could have drafted him.
Patrick Mahomes, that game wasn't like, look, he was really freaking good, but he didn't do anything like, well, he did stuff. But the thing is, it wasn't the whole game like magical, like doing things like out of his ass. Like a lot of things was just like scripted and they were just owning him. How many catch plays did we see on 3rd and 19? It's not like he was chucking bombs out there like crazy. The Niners were just getting beat everything under 20 yards.
It felt like he was actually out doing Kyle at Kyle's game.
It just felt like the play calling was majestical. I liked the way, and he was just executing it to a T and then some.
UK YouTube says Eddie D would have fired Kyle Shanahan by now. Yeah, he fired George Seifert, who had 2 Super Bowls, because they didn't make it far enough in the playoffs 1 year. Eddie was ruthless. And Jed tried to be, embarrassed himself, and now he's just happy to be seen as not incompetent.